ON Semiconductor reached a 52-week peak of $99.64 after B. Riley upgraded the stock to buy and raised its target to $115. The Semiconductor Stock Soars angle matters because the upgrade is only credible if earnings confirm that demand is really tightening. The tension is whether semiconductor cycle turns into a durable change or simply a sharp data point. That is why the first read should stay close to the confirmed numbers, 99.64 peak, 115 target, and the immediate checkpoint around 26-week lead times. For a market structure story, the useful readout is how capital, liquidity, rates, or risk appetite changes after the first move. The reason to keep watching is that the next checkpoint can change the meaning of the first move. The baseline matters because the stock had surged 145% year-over-year, while first-quarter revenue guidance sits between $1.435 and $1.535 billion. The key baseline details are 145% year gain and 1.418 B free cash, which give the story scale without requiring speculation. This scene grounds the viewer before the mechanism takes over. If the baseline changes, the rest of the story changes with it, because the consequence depends on whether those confirmed details keep holding. The most important baseline split is between what is already visible and what still needs confirmation from the next public signal. That scope keeps the segment focused on the mechanism that actually changes outcomes. Most people arrive after the move is obvious and the easy upside is gone. We focus on serious crypto education and high-quality signals before the crowd rushes in, so you can understand the setup earlier and move sooner. If you want that edge, visit the link below now. Mechanically, the bullish case rests on a cyclical bottom, power chips, silicon carbide for electric vehicles, and 26-week MOSFET lead times. That is the working engine behind Semiconductor Stock Soars, and it explains why the event cannot be read only as a surface move. In this case, the mechanism connects 99.64 peak with 26-week lead times. When that connection weakens, the story becomes less about the initial number and more about whether the system, market, or policy process can absorb stress. That mechanism is the reason a viewer should watch process quality, not just the largest number in the story. The practical effect lands on a stronger semiconductor cycle can influence AI, autos, industrial automation, and the risk appetite around hardware-linked equities. For viewers, the useful question is who actually has to react: users, traders, issuers, regulators, operators, or institutions. Here, Onsemi sits at the center of that reaction, while ON Semiconductor shapes the next practical step. The consequence is strongest where the event changes access, trust, liquidity, compliance planning, or the cost of making a decision. That makes the impact measurable through behavior, not through hype around the topic. The unresolved part is the valuation is stretched by trailing earnings, and analyst sentiment is still mixed, with many hold ratings remaining. That limit matters because the confirmed facts do not automatically prove the most aggressive interpretation. The safer split is to treat 115 target as established context, while leaving the unresolved part open until a stronger signal appears. That keeps the story useful without turning a partial data point into a conclusion. The open point should remain separate from the confirmed facts until a filing, market move, patch, data release, or official action closes the gap. If later evidence changes the read, the story should adjust around that evidence. Most people arrive after the move is obvious and the easy upside is gone. We focus on serious crypto education and high-quality signals before the crowd rushes in, so you can understand the setup earlier and move sooner. If you want that edge, visit the link below now. The next signal is May 4 earnings, especially whether revenue, margins, and lead times support the recovery thesis. For Semiconductor Stock Soars, that is the point where the story either gains confirmation or stays stuck as an unresolved market, policy, security, or adoption question. The practical readout is to follow 26-week lead times alongside the supporting details, May 4 earnings and 99.64 peak. If that next signal arrives, the story moves. If it does not, the only confirmed position is the one already visible in the evidence. The viewer should leave with one concrete checkpoint, not a prediction about where the market or policy process must go.